Hello and welcome to our training video, Getting Started with Intella. This video is designed to help you quickly and efficiently navigate the powerful features of Intella, our cutting-edge forensic investigation and eDiscovery tool. Whether you're running a trial or simply looking to refresh your skills, this guide will walk you through the essential steps to get you up and running. In this video, we will cover introduction and installation, adding an image containing user files, running basic searches, and our latest feature that has been added to Intella 2.7, Intella Backpack. Note that we also offer training classes that contain a lot more information about this tool, and these can be found at www.voundsoftware.com/support/training. Before we begin, there are some important prerequisites that should be considered. Firstly, we recommend that you read our latest documentation when selecting a computer to host Intella. This documentation can be obtained by visiting our website or community forum on the links indicated. This documentation shows the minimum hardware and software specifications to run all of our different products. Introduction and installation. To install Intella, you must be logged onto the system under the administrator account, or with an account that has administrator permissions to the system. Note that permission issues can arise if Intella is installed with a user account that has restricted access to the system's resources. In this video, Intella is installed with a user account that is logged onto the system. When Intella is installed this way, it must be started with the same user account which it was installed. The first step is to download the Intella installer from our website. If you are not a customer and running a trial, your Vound representative would have sent you a link to download the installer. If you are currently a Vound customer, you can visit the installers page on our website. Note that you will need to provide your dongle ID to access the download section. Once you have the installer file downloaded, right-click on the installer file and Run as Administrator. Select Next on the welcome screen. Read through the software license agreement and click I agree if you agree to the terms in the license agreement. Confirm the default destination path of the installation and click Next. Edit the Start menu folder if necessary, then click the Install button. Intella will then be installed on the system. During this process, you may see some black command windows appear on the screen. When all the files are installed, you will see a window appear on the screen confirming the completion of the setup. Click Finish to complete the installation process. Intella is now installed. Double-click on the Intella icon on your desktop to launch the application. If you have more than one type of license on the dongle, the license manager will be shown on the screen. This allows you to select the license you wish to use. In most cases, only one license will be installed on the dongle. Click Select. The application will open up into the Case Manager window. The Case Manager shows a list of the cases which are on your system. It also allows you to manage these cases. There will be no cases in this window if this is the first time Intella has been installed on the system. The cases in the list can be opened, edited, deleted, and exported. In this demonstration, we will create a new case by clicking on the Add button, create a new case button, then type in a new name for the case. You can add a description of the case here. We could use the Browse button and navigate to the folder location of where we want to build the case. But for this demonstration, we will use the Suggest button, and Intella will suggest a folder for the case. The Advanced button shows the additional options available. Here you can set a location for the optimization drive. This sets a storage location where temporary files can be written to while indexing. It is a separate drive to the case and evidence drives and provides better performance during indexing. This setting is only beneficial if you have a separate drive for the optimization location. There are also memory and crawler settings under the advanced options. We will leave all of these options as default for this demonstration. We have an article on our forum in regards to configuring the memory and crawler settings within Intella. We recommend that the user reads this article before these settings are configured. Overview of features. The new case will open up into the Intella dashboard. Here you will see which features and improvements have been added into Intella. It also offers links to various types of documentation, support, and common actions. The Welcome tab offers a checkbox to suppress this tab next time this case is opened. Note this setting is stored per case, therefore new cases will again show the Welcome tab. We now have a new case. but this case does not have any data or evidence in it. The next steps are to add a data source to the case and index that data source. Sources can be managed in the Sources tab at the top of the window. Click on the Add New button at the bottom left of the screen to launch the source type wizard. There are a number of data source options shown in the wizard. The options on the left are used for local sources, while the options on the right are used for online sources. We also provide some helpful guides for connecting to most of the online sources. These guides show how to configure the online services so that you can connect to and access the online source. The latest guides are posted on our knowledge base in the support portal. A link is also provided in the Add New Source wizard. In this example, we will select the Disk Image option to add a forensic disk image to the case. After clicking Next, the Specify File window opens, where we click the Add button and path to the forensic image we want to add, select it, and click Open. In this case, the disk image has only one segment. If there were more segments for the disk image, they would be added to the list automatically. Once selected, click Next, and the image is validated before the wizard moves to the next screen. The following source name and time zone window then allows you to enter a name and to set the time zone for the source. The File Type Settings window allows you to include or exclude specific file types. In the File Name Filter window, you can specify file name patterns that need to be excluded from processing. Intella supports MD5 hash filters. MD5 hash filters can be used to exclude items that have a specific known MD5 hash from a case. The Items window provides a selectable list of items that can be enabled or disabled during the indexing process. The default selections are the most commonly used, and typically these settings would be adequate for most cases. The Options window outlines options affecting indexing time in Intella. Cache original evidence files, copies files into the case folder, requiring extra processing time and disk space. Analyze paragraphs, enhances search and review. Determine geographic location of emails, estimates sender IP locations using a GeoIP2 or GeoLite2 database. Chat messages can be represented and bundled in various formats with limit number of messages per conversation. Enabling crawler script allows custom filtering, data enrichment, and integration with external systems. The Indexing Tasks window allows a user to set post-processing tasks, such as keyword searching, date range filters, and other filtering or processing tasks. You can learn more about this feature by watching our video on how to set up tasks in Intella. We are now ready to index our data, then the Finish button to start the indexing process. During the processing stage, you will see some indicators as the indexing is taking place. The indexing process is run in two stages. Stage 1 is what we call the crawling stage. This reads and indexes the data from the source evidence. Stage 2 builds the case. There are 7 steps from Stage 2 that are shown on the screen. When the indexing process is complete, you can see which data types are in your case by clicking on the Unique Items per Type tab. You can also see the task, which we ran in the Tasks tab. We can see that the task completed with no issues. The Intella interface. Now that we have our data source indexed, let's look at the Intella interface. The interface provides the user with the ability to search, filter, and review the data which is indexed into the case. This allows the user to quickly identify and locate the relevant evidence for their investigations. At the top left, we see the menu bar. This menu provides several drop-down options for various functions and settings in Intella. Below the menu bar are the View tabs. These tabs allow the user to switch between the different views for the data in the case. Intella's main window consists of a minimum of 5 view tabs. These are the Sources tab, the Insight tab, the Search tab, the Keywords tab, and the Identities tab. Optionally, a Welcome tab, 1 or more Review tabs, a W4 Import tab, and an Errors tab can also be present in the interface. Together, these tabs provide access to all the information stored in an Intella case. The Keyword Search box is where the user can manually type keyword searches to run over the data in a case. The Facet Search box provides a view where the data is filtered on specific characteristics. The Facet Values section below that is responsive to which facet has been selected above. This allows the user to review or search across specific facet values. The Facets Search button at the bottom left allows the user to search for facet values which have been selected. Moving to the middle of the interface, we see the Results pane. The Results pane shows the resulting clusters for search queries and how the search queries are connected or linked to each other. We call this the cluster map. On the right side of the interface, we have the controls for the Results pane. These controls let the user switch between different views for their search results. The views include the cluster map, the histogram, a geolocation map, and the social graph view. Underneath the Results pane is the Searches Totals box. This displays the number of results for the searches and filters which have been conducted or applied. The Searches Totals box also has a Save button, which allows the user to save the search and filtering criteria as a saved search. The saved search can then be used at any time to apply the same search criteria. Saved searches can also be exported from one case and imported into another case for reuse. Below the cluster map, we see the Details pane. This table shows a list of the items which responded to the search criteria. The table is updated based on which cluster or clusters the user selects in the cluster map. Finally, on the right, we see the controls for the Details pane. These controls allow the user to switch between several views for the items shown in the Details pane. These include the Table view, the List view, a Thumbnails view for image items, and a Timeline view for communication items. Below these controls are other view and filtering controls. These include buttons for deduplication, hiding irrelevant items, and hiding non-inclusive items which are related to email threading. Also in this area, there are other controls such as the Column Chooser, which allows the user to select which columns to display in the details table. The Column Sort option allows the user to sort multiple columns at the same time. Let's run through some searching examples. The Keyword Search panel is the place where the user enters words or a phrase to be searched. This example shows searches for a few simple terms: look, see, and find. The question mark in the right corner of the Keyword Search panel opens the Keyword Search Quick Reference panel. The Quick Reference panel provides information regarding the syntax for the various types of searches Intella can perform. Moving to the right, the Results pane shows a graphical representation for the results of the searches. The results are shown in a cluster map. In this example, we can see that we have some hits for the search terms look and find. Clicking on a cluster will show you which search terms are being viewed in the Details pane below. The cluster map helps to highlight the relationships between the searches which have been run. For example, this middle cluster has all of the items which were respondent to the 3 search terms. As mentioned, also shown in the Results pane, are the cluster map controls and the Search Totals box. The cluster map controls change the display of your results. In this example, we can change the view to the Sets view. This is useful when you have entered a number of searches. The cluster map can become very complex with all of the connections and linkages between the different searches. The Searches Totals box shows the number of items or results for each search which is run. Any of the searches can be removed by clicking on the associated red X. Below the Results pane is the Details pane. The Details pane shows the metadata for each item in the cluster you have clicked on. There are a large number of metadata columns which can be shown or hidden in Intella. This depends on the user's preferences and workflows. The Table Columns button allows the user to add or remove metadata columns in the table. At the top of this table, we have a number of controls. The top row allows the user to change the details table into a number of document views. The List view shows the respondent items with a snippet of the actual content. The Thumbnails view will show images and thumbnails, and the Timeline view will show communication items such as emails and chat conversations in a timeline. Below those controls are a number of options for deduplication, hiding irrelevant items and non-inclusive items, and column sorting. The last section on the left of the interface is the Facet Search area. Facets represent specific item properties. Every facet organizes the items into groups depending on a specific item property. The facet properties are shown in the Facet Values pane below. For example, clicking on the Features facet will allow you to identify items that fall in certain special purpose categories, such as encrypted and decrypted items. as well as items that have attachments or have been OCR'd. Note that all of the facets will not be covered in this Getting Started video. More information on the different types of facets can be found in the user manual. However, there are a few important facets that you should be aware of. The Features facet has a category for exception items. This is where Intella shows items that could not be processed properly during the indexing phase. Therefore, it is important to know that the items which are marked as exception items may not be respondent to keyword searches. There is also a category in the Features facet for encrypted items. Some of these encrypted items may have been decrypted, and in that case, they will be searchable. However, if an item is still encrypted because it failed decryption, then the item will not be searchable. The Tags facet shows tags which have been created in the case. This is like creating bookmarks of important items so that you can find them quickly at a later time. You can see that a tag has been created for the automated task which we set up when we added the evidence source to the case. This is where we added an automated task to run a keyword search after the index process had completed. We also set the task to tag the respondent items. The Location facet shows the data sources that have been indexed into the case. The Location facet can be expanded and navigated like Windows Explorer if required. Lastly, the Date facet allows the user to filter the dataset by a date range. This is useful when the investigation is focused on a specific time period. Going back to the cluster map, which shows our 3 searches, you can see that we have 7 clusters. In this case, the center cluster or the intersection of all 3 search terms will contain the search results for look, see, and find. The clusters make it easy to see the links between the search criteria that has been applied. When a cluster is selected, the details table is updated and populated with the items from that cluster. More than one cluster can be selected at a time by holding down the Control key and left mouse clicking on other clusters. Facets can be used to further refine the search results. For example, if you want to see only the document types which contain all 3 search criteria, you can search on the documents category in the Type facet. You can see that the cluster map gets a bit complicated when more search criteria are introduced. This is because Intella is linking the relationships between all of the search criteria. Intella has a function where you can run a require search using a required search on the documents facet, and will make the cluster map easier to understand. If we remove the last search for documents, and this time run a require search on the documents facet, Intella will only show the items which are from our criteria and are categorized as documents. You can see from this example the additional filtering has narrowed down our search. All that is showing in the center cluster now are the document types, which are also respondent to all 3 search criteria. Intella also has an excludes function. The exclude search can be used in a similar way to remove specific file types from a set of search results. For example, if we want to see all items in the case which are respondent to the keyword searches, but are not document types, these can be excluded using the exclude search function. Once a cluster has been selected in a cluster map, the items within that cluster will be shown in the details table. An item can be opened by right-clicking on the item, selecting the Preview option, and then selecting the Item option from the list. Alternatively, you can open an item by double-clicking on the item in the details table. The item is then shown in a dedicated previewer window. There are a number of tabs across the top of the preview window. We will discuss a few of these tabs next, but more information about these tabs can be found in the user manual. The Contents tab shows the text which has been extracted from the item. You can also see the hit, highlighting for the keyword search results in this tab. You can navigate these hit highlights by using these buttons at the bottom of the preview window. If the Analyze Paragraphs option was selected during the indexing process, the preview window will show controls on the left of the text where the paragraphs can be expanded or collapsed. Processing the paragraphs gives the user more functionality. For example, the user can mark which paragraphs have been seen when they have been read. This can be done by right-clicking on the paragraph text and selecting Mark as Seen. This turns the text light gray. The paragraph can be turned back on by selecting Mark as Unseen. Other paragraphs in the database that are identical will be treated the same. This allows the user to easily skip over text that had already been read. Paragraphs can also be excluded by selecting the Hide Seen Paragraphs option. This is useful when you receive false positives from searching activities. For example, you may be searching for a company name over a case, but the company name appears in a common area, such as an email signature block. In this case, the signature block can be excluded from the search, but the word will be found if it is elsewhere in the item. The Preview tab shows the item with its formatting intact. This is similar to the native representation of the original item. Again, we can see hit highlighting from searches in this view. The Properties tab shows information such as the creator who made changes to an item, when the item was created and modified, and other useful information. The Preview window has a number of review controls to assist the user with their review. The icon bar at the top allows the user to export, print, and open the item in its native application. The Next and Previous button allows the user to navigate to the next document or to go back to the previous document. Tagging items in a case. Items can be tagged by clicking on the tag icon, where the Edit Tags window will be shown. From here, you enter a name for the tag and click the Add button to create a new tag. If you want to add the item into an existing tag, then select the checkbox or multiple checkboxes to add the item to several tags at the same time. Click on the OK button to complete the process. Once a tag has been created, it becomes a Quick Tag button. You can use this Quick Tag button or shortcut to speed up the tagging process for other items. The item can also be redacted by clicking on the Redacted button. When this is done, a new window named Redaction is shown. In this window, the user can redact the search terms which have been hit highlighted throughout the entire document. The user can also add additional search terms to this list below. This allows for redacting words in the document which were not in the initial search. Manual redactions can be made by dragging the mouse over the area to be redacted while holding down the left mouse button. Note that redactions are transparent when viewed in Intella, but these redactions are made solid when the item is exported. There are several other controls which can be used during the review of items. More information about these controls are covered in our training and can be found in the user manual. Exporting items. Intella can export in several different formats. The most common export formats are Original Format, which exports the items to native format. PDF allows for exporting items to either separate or a combined PDF version. MS Outlook PST file. This file can be opened in programs like Outlook. Load file will support exporting to relativity, concordance, summation, ringtail, or CSV formatted load files. Report allows a user to create customized reports for the selected items. Some export formats allow the user to include additional metadata with each document which is exported. Here is a simple example of exporting items in PDF format. We first select the items that need to be exported, then right-click and select the Export option followed by the Selection option. From the Export Type pane, select the PDF option from the list, then use the Browse button to the path to where I want to save the exported items. An export template can be used, but in this example, we will leave this field empty and click on the Next button. You can either export the items to individual files, or you can export all of the items into a single PDF file. In this example, we will export to individual files. The File Naming and Numbering screen allows the user to set customized file names or numbers. In this example, we will select the Use File Name or Subject option and click Next. The PDF Rendering Options window allows the user to export additional metadata with the exported item. The options on the left are for email types. The options on the right are for file types. If the desired result is to export items similar to how they are seen in their original application, then these settings would give those types of views when the items are exported. In the following Headers and Footers window, areas of the document with these settings items can also be stamped with a file name or any other metadata. Next, you can choose whether the redacted version will be exported when the redactions have been made to the items being exported. This setting is enabled by default, and it is the recommended setting to minimize accidental disclosure of redacted content. It's always best to create an export report when you are running exports. This allows you to see if there were any issues during the export process. Lastly, in the Complete Export Definition window, a summary of the settings for the export is shown. This screen also allows the user to save the export settings as a template so that these settings can be used for future exports. Once the export is complete, the exported items will be located in the destination folder, which was selected during the export wizard. Intella Backpack. In the 2.7 release of Intella, we have included a new feature called Intella Backpack. With this option selected, items can be exported to a portable case. A single-file encrypted container is created that can be opened in a portable Intella Backpack application. This allows the secure transfer of the specific evidence items for reviewing by a third party without them installing the licensed Intella products. To export items to a portable case container, use the following procedure. Run a query that contains all the to-be-exported items. Next, select the to-be-exported items in the Details view. Right-click on the selected items and choose the Portable Case option from the context menu. Fill in the following fields in the Export to Portable Case wizard. Creator will be the name of the portable case creator, but by default it will be the name of current Intella user. The case name and optional description of new portable case are optional, as well as the organization name. For IPC file, click the Browse button to specify name and path of the target IPC Intella portable case file. Alternatively, click Suggest to generate file name at the default path. With the Advanced Case Setting option, you can fine-tune the advanced case parameters, such as memory allocation. Click the Next button to move to the Case Export Options window. At the Case Export Options window, you can select the specific export options that you will like to include in the portable case, or choose the Include All checkbox if you would like to include all of these options in your case. Then proceed by clicking the Export button. After exporting finishes, a message with the export statistics, and importantly, the IPC file password is shown. From there, you provide your third party with the IPC file password and instructions on where to download the Intella Backpack installer file from our website. More information on this feature can be found in the Intella Backpack Quick Start page on our website at www.voundsoftware.com/docs/backpack/2.7. Support. Finally, if you do not have an account for our support portal, you can create one by clicking on the Register as a New Customer link at the bottom of the support page on our website. Vound is a leading global vendor of technology used for end-to-end forensics, eDiscovery, and early case assessment. To find out more about these products, go to our website at www.vound-software.com. We hope this video has provided useful instruction on how to navigate through our product.